Y'all still up? Of course you are. Welcome to another great episode of Cubfidential. I am Mr. Cubfidentiality, Denzel Snipes, bringing you the greatest in and latest in Cubs coverage after dark. And we have a jam-packed show. We've got a lot to cover, a lot to highlight. But first, let's get our temp host in here. Before we do, shout out to JB Ellis. Get well. We miss you. Come on back soon. But for right now, we do have our temp host. He's on a high right now because his Avs are in the Stanley Cup Finals. But let's give it up for our host, and this is Mr. Jordan Long, the Rocky Mountain rock star.
Hey, Jay.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Of course, I'm on a high. My team's in the Stanley Cup Final. I just wish the Cubs would play a little bit better baseball. But hey, Stanley Cup Final. Now we got to talk Cubs baseball.
All right. And so with that being said, I'm leaving it up to you. So, all right, take it away.
Well, as Jay alluded to, we are Cubfidential, the best late night Cubs coverage here on the Sideline Sports Network. We have a great show for you. Unfortunately, we lost 9-3 today, but let's bring on our first guest, Jennifer Lewis, who's going to cover the Brewers series and the Cardinals series. Hey, Jennifer.
Hey, what's going on, Jordan? How are you, my friend?
Well, everybody knows how I'm doing. I'm on a Stanley Cup high. Unfortunately, that's the wrong sport. I wish I was talking about, a Cubs team that was actually in contention for the National League Central Division.
Season's still young?
Well.
Yeah, I know. I'm going, don't take away my hope, Jordan.
I know. We're sitting here in June, and it feels like it's the same song and dance that we've had on this show for the last 4 weeks?
Yeah. And they fired Madden today after 12-game losing streak. Like, really?
But yet they're actually having fun. It makes me wonder if, I know this isn't an Angels show, but it makes me wonder if Joe Madden was really the problem with the Angels. I never liked the hiring in the first place, personally. I also didn't like the firing from here, but I understood it.
Right. Well, let's talk about that first game with the Brewers last week. We lost 7-6. So on that one, we really can't blame pitching. We had a good home run in the top of the third inning. Bottom of third, Wilson Contreras grounded into a double play. Urias to the second baseman, Wong to first baseman Tellez. And they got Morel out at second. So, that wasn't the best, but hey, the Brewers had a home run. We just have to get it, I don't know, we can't close.
The one thing that I agree, the one thing that bothered me, and I don't know if it bothered you, is I went and looked at the stats, 11 men on base. We didn't have timely hits.
No, yeah. What's going on with that? Honestly, comparatively looking at what's going on with baseball, collegiate baseball right now, the World Series right there, they're doing a lot better. All those teams are.
And you
except for VCU.
And you need timely hits. It was just one of those games where we couldn't find the hole, and unfortunately it cost us.
Yeah. Ortega and Horner had decent games. So, or at the first game, so that's good. Then in the second game, it was 3-1, which wasn't great, but that was also a doubleheader. So,
the question I have about that game is, how much do you think the first game took away from the second game? Doubleheaders are tough in their own right,
and it's hot.
That's true.
I hate doubleheaders for ball players. I always have ever since I was little, because I just feel like it's kind of unfair, in my opinion. But yeah, and honestly, last week, the first, 2 games, the Brewers were just a better team. We showed some comeuppance with the third game last week against the Brewers. And we did win that one 8-7. No, by the way, Jordan, none of these games were blowouts either.
No.
So it's just not closing. Not closing. What's going on? Why aren't we closing?
I look at the first game and you lose by a run. That's timely hitting to me. The second game, your pitching was decent. Where was the hitting? I
Yeah.
mean, it's frustrating to see a team like us who has, some pop in the lineup with Nico Horner, Ian Happ, you alluded to Wilson Contreras.
Mm-hmm.
We got Frank Schwindel, but
Mhm.
yet why isn't it showing up late in these games? I just don't get it. It's confusing to me.
It is. We've got, Morel, who's been on a hot streak. When he got out, it wasn't his fault. And straight, I mean, honestly, like it's not I don't know. We're just, like I said, not closing. The RBIs are there. The pitching is actually pretty solid, especially in doubleheader day games. But on the plus side, we did win that third game.
4-3 extra innings.
Yeah, well, that was the fourth game. The third game we won also, but then we won 3 and 4. So, and that's good because we've got like morale, kicking butt, taking names, which is a great thing. Sorry, I sound so mundane tonight. Wisdom, did a double play. So, I mean, some of the big things are there, and that's coming up. But then when we go into the Cards games, we did start with the Cardinals winning. Sorry. So that's good. We, Contreras is like, no, nobody's going to take my, Thunder. So he's like stepping up. So I think morale is good for the team and that he's also making Contreras step up his game again, which is a good thing. And it's kind of fun to see too, I think. What about you? Do you think it's kind of fun to see that?
I like seeing a young player come up from where he was. I believe he was in Double A, and then to come up, not even go to Triple A and just go right to the majors. I think, honestly, we had this conversation last week. I think we finally have our leadoff hitter, although Jacob Christner kind of disagrees with me there.
I know, but that's what the Pundits Pundit does. And he, but I will say, I think he's what I do agree with Rossi and saying that I think Morel is the spark that's needed right now, especially with Suzuki out. I think the fact that Morel is, actually surpassed the, I'm sorry, long day. Contreras' record, he surpassed it. So I think that's why Wilson's kind of stepping up like, whoa, no, back down, buddy. But
so we went 2-2 against the Brewers. After the series, you won the last two. And, I'm thinking we're doing great. We're going into the Cardinals series. And what I thought, and I know we've chatted on Facebook about this, was we had a 5-game series against the Cardinals. I was looking at the schedule when it was announced. I was like, did we really play 5 games against them? And what they ended up doing is we have another 5-game set with St. Louis. I think it's in August. August 23rd. And I was looking at the schedule like, why would they do that? But again, we had the lockout. It was a revised schedule, and we had to play a 5-game set. Of course, Thursday and Friday, which we'll get to in a minute, were, regular games, 9-inning games. And then we got into Saturday. It was a doubleheader. And then Sunday, maybe I should play for the Cubs. I wish I could play for the Cubs well. But put me in coach. All right. Well, but then we had...
sorry to interrupt you. I do like Will's question. Do you think we should bring back Madden?
If that's a very good question. Because of the fact that, none of us are on board with David Ross. My problem with bringing in a Joe Madden is you're going back into a guy who's already managed this team. I want to see another outside guy. Could he help us? Sure. But we saw what happened with the Angels, with Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani. He couldn't get those guys to actually win. I just don't know if he's the right guy to help rebuild our team.
Okay, fair enough. I don't know. I see your points. I don't know. I just think I like Madden. He's done so well with every team he's been at. I think it was a little over anxious to fire him with the 12-game losing streak. And David Ross needs to be really glad that wasn't him. Just saying. So, but I don't know. I don't know that you can come back to a team that you've already won the World Series with. So I don't know. There's so many variables at play.
There are so many variables.
Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. What?
Chris, Javi, and Anthony are welcome back at any point in time whatsoever.
I would agree with what your husband just said.
Jordan agrees with you. I think we all agree with what he just said. Okay, then I know we were going to talk. Did you want to?
We can move on to the Cardinals series. I mean, I was feeling pretty good. And like I said, we had a 5-game set. Thursday's game I thought was actually well played by us, 7-5. I thought we limited the mistakes that we did in the Brewers series. 12 hits, 7 runs, 5 walks, 2 strikeouts. Again, my problem is the runners on base. 10, we left. You cannot do that.
You can't do that. That's craziness. And we got lucky with that win too, to be honest, in my humble opinion, because we all know the love that we needed Carrie Johnson on because she loves her Cardinals. But we, I feel like we kind of got lucky because we were leaving 10 to 12 people on base, players on base. I can't talk right now. I'm sorry.
Ross isn't. Yes, I would agree. Well, Ross is now the biggest name on the hot seat.
Yeah. And I think that Morel and Contreras are and Schwanda, Wisdom, they're kind of saving him a little bit, but I don't know.
I mean, I'm not going to put a lot of stock on Friday's game. We lost 14-5. Kind of a game I want to forget. We just didn't really show up. And I don't know if that's because the Cardinals' bats were hot or the fact that we were just tired from playing, we had from the series before. I really don't know, but we lost 14-5. That's not what you want to do against your arch rival.
No, absolutely not. And you have your key players, your Wisdoms, your Schwandels, Ortega, like Morale and Wisdom. They're making their plays. They're doing what they need to do. We got to have everybody step up. And I know, like, we kind of touched on this, but do you think it's pitching, like, in these games?
If you look at a 14-5 game, it's got to be pitching because I've got to look back at it. We used, let's see, Stroman. Why did we sign this guy? That's my main question. Jacob was so high on him, and I honestly was not excited about him. And you see that he 4 innings pitched, 10 hits, 9 runs, all of them earned, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts, gave up 3 home runs. It's just home run derby when he gets out there and pitches. I don't understand it. Then Lightyear Jr., he pitched better, 4 innings pitched, 3 runs, all of them earned, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. My question is why was Frank Schwindel pitching in the 9th? I get it. You're trying to save your bullpen, but he's a position player. At least we know the rule on that.
I know. We were discussing that the other day. But because they were losing so bad, and why not? Let's see if Schwindel can do something. Yeah.
The only thing I'll say about that is at least David Ross knew the rule, and the Dodgers manager didn't.
That's funny.
Well, the problem with being active at the trade deadline is who are we going to give up? We really just have Wilson Contreras and Jason Hayward. Who are you going to get back for them?
And here's the thing, like we mentioned this last week, I kind of like the idea of getting Contreras' brother up here.
It would make a lot of sense.
I mean, it really would. I don't know if it's feasible. I don't know what we would have to give up in return. But, I mean, honestly, I just want Javi back.
I think we all do, but I think there's a lot of money there for Javier Baez in Detroit. But then Saturday, we had a doubleheader. I thought the first game we pitched very well. We played better, 6-1 final. But you know what I noticed in that game? I somehow didn't realize it was his St. Louis manager, Oliver Morel, was kicked out. And I looked at the play. I saw it live, then I watched the replay, and I understand why he was upset. It was the strike zone. The strike zone wasn't very good, but you know what? Can't argue balls and strikes. That's just me.
And sorry for laughing, but I liked Will's comment. I don't know if you saw it or not. He said, "I don't want to play for the Cubs anymore. I'm taking my talents to South Beach." But that's funny. Okay. I'm struggling with a lot right now with the Cubs, to be honest with you. I know, like, when we were playing the Cards, when we went 6-1, like Swarmer, Schwanda, Horner, they all stepped up. But honestly, were the Cards just tired? Like, they kicked our butt the day before.
I would imagine so, or they were saving their best for last, because in that nightcap, 7-4 loss, we really should have won that game. We actually had a chance with bottom of the ninth, 2 outs and 2 on, a guy on third too, and it was Wisdom, and he struck out. Then we went to extras. Again, I don't know why I'm so aggravated at this, but this week it's men on base, 12 men left on base, and a 3-run game. That's not good enough.
Agreed. I agree with you on that. And I mean, and we needed to really pay attention to Brendan Donovan, honestly. And I don't know if we paid enough. No, you cannot.
No, I was going to say, I don't think you look like Chris Bryant, unfortunately, bud. As much as we like you, Will, if you guys don't know who Will is, he's part of our Sideline Sports Network. He's on Basket Bros. He's on the NBA Carousel with us. But, well, yeah, you wouldn't be past as Chris Bryant's doppelganger. I'm sorry.
I don't know. Will I say this without the love of my heart? I don't know if he would pass for Chris Bryant's son. I love you though, Will. Except for that whole Brady comment earlier. We'll discuss that off topic though. But yeah, like leaving 12 people on base again. On the plus side, the Cardinals left 11 players on base. So kind of evened out a little bit, but it's not that good. But again, during that game, we really need to pay attention to Donovan. Because quite honestly, like, hasn't Cards manager been singing his praises since March?
Pretty much.
February, March, somewhere in there.
I mean, you look at that Cardinals lineup too. You have Paul Goldschmidt, one guy. I mean, if you guys don't know me, I'm from the Colorado area, and watching Nolan Arenado play for the Cardinals, kind of a sore subject. But the thing about it is you have that potent lineup. But if you're going to leave 12 men on base, you're not going to win many games. No,
you're not. And they have to stop that. And that's, basics. And I say that acting like I can hit a ball at 90 to, 150 miles an hour. I can't.
No. But the thing is it's still fundamental baseball. I mean, it's all about, moving the runners into scoring position, have the next guy in the lineup, have a base hit. We didn't do that in game 4. And then game 5, another extra inning game lost. They lost at 5-3 in 11 innings. Again, I'm going to say this again, 11 men on base.
Yep.
That was the difference. But my question for you is, do you really like the ghost runner at second? I'm indifferent to it. Every time we go into extra innings, I always think, someone got a double. And then I realize, wait, they placed it on second. Yeah, I'm in agreement. The only thing that does to me, it makes games not go to 17, 18 innings. But still, it's a little weird to see a ghost runner on second.
Like, I'm sorry, that's just ridiculous. I feel like they have ties in every other sport except for the NBA. And it's okay to have a tie every once in a while. Let a tie happen. Let the people go home.
Well, especially
let the players rest.
That's exactly why they added the ghost runner. I remember watching Rockies game that went, I want to say 18, 19 innings, and that's just too long to be at the ballpark. Mm-hmm. I think the Korean Baseball League actually, I think after 15 innings, if I'm not mistaken, might be 14, that they just call it a tie. You know what? I'd be fine with that in Major League Baseball. The problem is we don't like ties in America for whatever reason.
No, the only time it's unacceptable is in the NBA Finals, the Stanley Cup, and the Super Bowl and the World Series. That's the only time it's not acceptable. And swimming because hashtag I was a competitive swimmer.
So we will end your segment with Cub or Dub. I saw that Suzuki was actually taking batting practice. The question is this week that he's coming back rushed from his finger injury?
I think Ross needs to pay attention. I had a player I really liked a lot get really, really injured in Denver in 2016, and he never really played again. So I'd rather make sure Suzuki's okay, he's not in pain, and that he doesn't rush back, because in baseball, you actually need all of your ligaments.
It's kind of important, especially swinging the bat. I didn't see how he's doing in batting practice, but I think it's a step in the right direction. Well, thank you, Jennifer, for being on this week. Tell everybody where they can find you and follow you.
Sure. I am the third co-host of Three Chicks in a Pot, Tuesday nights at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Cubfidential, obviously, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's on Tuesday nights. On Wednesday nights, we have Pundits Pundit. Thursday nights during the season, we have the NFL Carousel, and on occasion, I am on the Sip Off. Friday and Saturdays, I'm pretty much free. Sundays, I produce Basket Bros with our awesome producer, Mr. Denzel Snipes, with Will Vogel, with Dom Drubis, and who else am I forgetting? Jacob Christner. Sorry, Pundits Pundit.
I was going to say, yeah, you're missing the most important guy. But I will encourage you guys, please watch Three Chicks in a Pod. Jennifer, Carrie, and Megan do an awesome job. They're talking about Title IX, and I'm actually learning a little bit as well.
Yeah, and check out our Facebook page too. Like, Carrie's done a great job every single day so far this month. She and Megan, I've had a couple of personal things going on, but she and Megan have been able to post a Title IX fact that isn't that well known, so that other people can learn more. So it's really insightful and educational too. So check us out. We're a pretty fun show. It's only half an hour.
Thanks again, Jennifer, for being on.
Have a good night, hon.
You too. All right, that was Jennifer Matthew Lewis as we talked about the Cardinals series and the Brewers series, and now we'll get Steve Schwanda on talking about our Cubs Player of the Week. Hey, Steve.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Well, I think you know how I'm doing.
Yeah.
Hey, at least, I mean, I know this isn't a basketball show, but at least the Warriors came out and won and tied the series up. Tomorrow's a big game for you guys.
Yeah, it is. It is. And besides the 40-16 fourth quarter in game one, they've controlled the other let me do my math real quick. The other 7 quarters. The other 7 quarters of the series, they've been fine except for that one. So, yeah, I'm not that worried yet.
Yeah, I can imagine. I have to tell you something fun about game one. You guys were, 13 points ahead in the third quarter? I shut it off.
15,
Next
yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
And then you were down by 3. I'm like, what the heck happened? Then I realized, it's the third quarter. But we're here to talk about the Cubs, and we're going to do this Cubs for You Player of the Week.
Yes, we are. This comes for you. And apparently the theme of tonight's show is that I'm going to be a huge jinx this week. So it's all my fault. I am taking full responsibility. So Sir Ian of Hap is my favorite current Cub. I made him this Cubs for You this week because he just went an entire week without striking out. So, of course, tonight he struck out. After he didn't strike out the entire week, he had over 400, had an on-base percentage of 460, a slugging of over 700, hit a home run, had 3 RBIs, 9 hits, stolen base, 3 walks, no strikeouts, 4 doubles. So, of course, he goes 1 for 4 today with a strikeout tonight, right?
And unfortunately, we lost 9-3. That doesn't help.
Well, and here is where I will also, and this is what we call a segue in the business, folks. This is where I will also talk about where it is all completely my fault. So and I'm going to get the numbers in front of me so I don't butcher them because I got to give him credit. Keegan Thompson going into tonight, 6-0, ERA under 2, 7.5 Ks per 9, giving up 3 home runs and 45 in the third innings. What did he do tonight, Jordan? Let me look. Oh, yeah. Gave up 3 home runs in 3 innings and had 1 strikeout.
So basically it was home run derby against him, unfortunately.
Yeah, the Orioles hit 5 home runs tonight.
Yikes.
The Cubs hit 2.
Okay.
Including 1 on the first pitch of the game.
Yeah, we were all excited about that.
I know. I messaged you guys. I was like, 1 pitch, 1 run. Like, let's go. I mean, Morales. This is 21 straight games that he's reached on base to start his career with the Cubs. Like, I mean, and he was still good. He had a triple too. He was 2 for 5 with a run and 2 RBIs. Like, so it wasn't his fault. And Contreras hit a home run, a solo shot. Happ did get a hit. Swindell got a hit. Horner got a hit. Hayward got a hit. I mean, those were the people who got hits. And Morel was the only one with 2. But yeah, giving up 5 home runs to Baltimore. Like, and I understand the AL East is not an easy division.
No.
But they're still 24-33. Like, it's not like they're world beaters here, guys. Like.
No, and I can tell you, when I did my MLB predictions, and I'm going to give a shout out to my sports-scoop.com podcast, I actually had Baltimore being last in the division.
Yes. Yeah, and that's the thing. This is, again, why I will, you guys, you can all, and I'll give you my Twitter handle later so you can all send your hate mail to me. It is all completely my fault. I picked up Keegan Thompson today as a spot start in my fantasy baseball league because, again, he was 6-0 with an ERA under 2 and almost 8 strikeouts per 9. So I was like, you know what? I need a starter today. I got a guy who's, I got like 7 pitchers on the IL. I'll throw him. He's playing the Orioles. They're not very good because, when I was going to do a preview for this, I was like, it's a small 2-game series before you have a day off. And then you got to go to the Bronx to play the Yanks for a weekend series.
Which is not going to be easy. I mean, the Yankees, you got Aaron Judge, you've got a whole lot of talent. So it'd be nice to win this series.
This was 2 games that I said at worst you have to split. It would be nice to get both, right? And then looking at the numbers, looking at the matchups, sometimes you are what your record says you are, and what your stats are. The Orioles starting pitcher tonight was 1-3 with a 6.82 ERA in his 8th career start.
Yikes!
And instead, we get 3 innings, 5 hits, 1K, 7 runs, 1 walk, and 3 home runs given up by our starter in 3 innings. Though I will say Alec Mills did pitch great. He pitched the final 5 innings of the game, only gave up 4 hits. Unfortunately, 2 of those were solo shots, so he gave up 2 runs. But 6 Ks and a walk. I mean, if we can get rid of the solo home runs, 6 Ks and a walk and 5 innings and 4 hits, we'll take that. We'll take that all day. But it's pitching. It's time. And you said, and you're exactly right. And it put a little bit of a negative feelings for me because CMU had the same problem over the weekend against Florida in the NCAA baseball tournament where they left 11 guys on base in a game, and same type of thing that the Cubs were dealing with. And then in the game on Sunday came back from 5-1 down, only to lose on a walk-off sac fly. So just that timely hitting, and for my son, he's 11 in his age group. You don't want to give walks, right? If you throw walks, they get easy bases. They're going to steal bases. Like, you don't want to walk guys. Well, in professional, obviously you don't want to give up home runs, right? Because it's the quickest way to give up a run, where you have the defense behind you. There's a lot of things that can happen. Just don't give up home runs. Now, obviously, if you're going to give up a home run, a solo shot's better than a 3-run shot, but the Cubs gave up a 3-run shot tonight too. So they spreaded the wealth,
So do you think the problem is pitching or is it hitting? Because we've talked about timely hitting and we've talked about pitching. And unfortunately on this show, it seems to be basically pitching. I mean, yeah, we don't have the timely hits, but it seems like pitching is our main problem right now.
Yeah, I mean, tonight 3 runs is not going to win a lot of games in Major League Baseball. So I'll say tonight you can make it, because even if if you just have Alec Mills' 5 runs, 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, you win the game 3-2 if he started and then the bullpen closed the door. But most of the time, 3 runs isn't going to get it done, right? So I think tonight both sides have a say in it, but it is timely hitting. When did you get your hit, right? And did you strike out? Like I was gonna put Schwindel and Contreras also for this cup. This Cubs for you, but both of them struck out. Contreras struck out 5 times last week, and Schwindel actually has been better with that, but he still struck out 3. Because if you strike out, nothing can happen good, right?
No.
But maybe you get a ground out, and if there's a guy on second and you ground out to the second baseman with 1 out, he still advances to third, right? Or you have a sac fly, or you have you have a hit where the guy goes first to third. So it all depends on what you do when. And some guys just are made for that, and some guys just aren't. There's those guys that, oh yeah, you're 1 for 4 with 3 Ks, and yeah, you hit a home run, but it was when nobody was on and you left 6 guys on base, right? Like,
right.
Get a hit then, right? So definitely there's enough blame to go around for the Cubs right now. And I think fandom, I mean, that's why we're crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Talk yourself into it. And especially with baseball, kind of the season's so long. So really quickly, I agree with Jenn. Regular season, it should just end in a tie. I mean, hockey kind of does it. With you get the point and then they get to the shootout, but you get the extra point. Like, so why don't we just say, hey, you get a win, a loss, and a tie, and you get 1 point for a 9-9 inning tie, and you get 2 points for a win, and let's just do it that way. Like, there's no reason to ever have a regular season baseball game go 12, 13, 14, 15 innings when you play 162 games.
Mm-hmm.
And because you play so many games, like, yeah, even the worst team's still going to win 60 games this year, right? So you're just like, you still have 50 games. You still have like, hey, well, we won a little bit, but you just lose so much. But I think most of us kind of did not expect this to be a banner, raising year for the Cubs.
Definitely
but,
not.
Obviously you still want to be competitive. Always talk about that, the stages of Major League Baseball. Are you in it during Memorial Day, July 4th, Labor Day? Like, those are the 3 checkpoints. Like, are we still playing meaningful games? And unfortunately, if you're being honest, they weren't even playing meaningful games in Memorial Day.
No,
and
they weren't.
Sure as hell probably aren't going to be playing meaningful days on July 4th. So
for me personally, if you look at the standings, it's the All-Star break for me.
Yeah.
I've seen, last year was a complete fluke. I mean, we were close to first place in the All-Star break, and then post All-Star break, still there, and then we just slid. Going to your point about ties, we have a minor league baseball team here in Grand Junction, Colorado. For those of you that don't know where that is, that's 250 miles west of Denver. We actually, with this independent ball, they actually have a home run derby at the end of 9 innings. It's basically like a shootout in hockey. I'm not sure I'm for it, but I haven't seen it set up. But I think it's better than saying, let's go play 15 innings.
Oh, absolutely. And the same people who would say, well, that changes, the game because it's not pure, whatever. Well, soccer does the same thing. After 90 minutes, and then obviously for playoffs, World Cup, whatever, yeah, you would play, an extra 30 with a 15, and then switch sides. But then you go to PKs, right? And that changes the complexion of the game, just like a shootout would in hockey, just like a home run derby would in baseball. And like you said, yeah, if you have one game, if it's a game 7 of the World Series, yeah, play until somebody, wins, obviously. But if it's some random game in mid-June between two fourth place teams in their division. Like, there's no reason to play 14 innings. There's no reason to play 10, and I know we have a couple of local minor league teams relatively close to me as well. And I love minor league baseball. It's the best deal to go to games. They're cheap and you have a good chance to see, some potential stars. In fact, Great Lakes Loons in Midland, where my kids are, the number one Cubs prospect the number one Dodgers prospect right now is there right now. So in high single A ball. So it's just kind of cool that you get a chance to see somebody who, like Clayton Kershaw has pitched there, like Corey Seager can go down the line. So it's really cool to see those guys for, $7, and you get, second row behind the bench instead of, having to pay ridiculous. So great point about minor league baseball. I know they're doing, and I've been to a couple games already this year, the pitch clock thing, which they're, experimenting with, and, how many mound visits they get and all that stuff. And, they obviously did the runner on second, before Major Leagues tried it and all that stuff. The pitch clock thing for me, like, I don't think that's as big of a deal as like, well, you're going to allow a replay. So, he's going to give him 20 seconds after he gets the ball to pitch it, but we're going to allow a 2.5 minute replay, 2.5 minute replay. So.
Mm-hmm. And then going on to what do you think can happen tomorrow? I mean, we lost 9-3 today. Who's on the mound tomorrow for us? If
Your good friend Marcus Stroman is pitching tomorrow.
Oh, great!
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, he's taking his 5.32 ERA into the game tomorrow. And Jordan Lyles actually is pitching for them, who's 3-4, but an ERA under 5 at 4.5. He's got 54 strikeouts so far. So look again, researching this at my lunch break today. I kind of thought that this was the game they're going to win, and then hey, if you win tomorrow, it's groovy. Well, we gave up 5 home runs and lost 9-3. So now I think, and it's not a must win because obviously they're not going to, do much tonight. But you got a day off on Thursday, and then you're going to the Bronx. I feel just for morale, I think tomorrow is an important game. And, and Stroman needs to have a good outing, obviously. Though if tonight was any indication in the game, it's the same thing, 7:05 Eastern local time start. The ball was carrying well. I mean, I know there was some rain in the area earlier. There was some, the field was a little wet. So maybe it was humid and the ball carried a little bit better. I don't know. I wasn't there, obviously, but just watching the game, it seemed like the ball was carrying pretty well, both out and then just like on balls that you didn't think were going to get into the stands, they would carry on foul territory. So maybe tomorrow will be more of the same, and we'll just again have another home run derby. But hopefully this time the Cubs can hit it. But the Cubs had a lot of long fly ball outs, which when you're down, it shows me that you're not having a very good approach at the plate. That if you're down 5-6 runs, you're not getting it back with one swing of the bat. Solo shot doesn't really help us that much. So trying to swing for the fences and getting under it and, 300 feet to center field, that's just an out, drive the ball, hit it the opposite way, get on base. Like you want base runners, so hopefully their approach will be a little bit better tomorrow. Again, obviously very winnable game. It was a very winnable series. I mean, you should have taken 2 from the Orioles, truthfully. But as the great Lovie Smith once said, they are who we thought they were, and really the Cubs are who we think they are. Unfortunately,
yes. I mean, I didn't have a lot of hope this year that we would be in contention, but I was hoping maybe we wouldn't lose 100 games, and that's the trajectory that we're going right now. Unfortunately, and I don't know if you point the finger, at Jed Hoyer or the front office, or this is just a building year. I'm going to go off of what Will said. If we do fire David Ross, which I think is going to happen, would you want Joe Madden back?
No, just for the fact of, and you said it, you're going backwards, like the fact that, and I would, again, the manager that won the World Series for the Cubs to break the curse, and the players that are on that, team, 2016 team, like, They should never have to, pay for a meal in Chicago ever again, all that stuff. Anytime they want to come back, roll out the red carpet, do whatever you want, but you still have to move forward. And that's the only thing that and obviously I think we all thought that after 2016 is like, well, this team is young, like they're going to, and you get cocky, like, oh, they might win 2 of the next 3 or 3 of the next 5 or something like that. Then obviously that, that didn't happen. And maybe the management didn't do a good enough job securing those guys right away and not letting it get to your final contract year. And
let's see, Rizzo is in what? New York. Javi Baez is in Detroit. And then Chris Bryant's in my neck of the woods in Colorado.
And and really it all started with Dexter Fowler going to St. Louis, and that was right away, and that really turned out to be really the biggest one, truthfully, because they haven't had a legitimate, successful pencil him in every day, he's your leadoff hitter since then.
I think Morale's starting to get there, but he's still young.
I agree.
I definitely go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I agree. And then Happ should bat second and Contreras should bat third.
There you go. That was another question I was going to ask you and you answered it. But I definitely think we haven't had a leadoff hitter since Dexter Fowler. And that was really hurtful when he went to St. Louis. Going to your arch rival, that happens all the times, but especially to go to him. But
it's a double whammy for us fans, but it just shows that, yes, we could get up for the games and down for the games and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, you can't let it actually affect if you have a good day or not, because we care about it way more than the players do, because
that is true.
It's just a business. It's a business decision. You're going to go to the team that's going to pay you the most money. And yeah, it's sports and it's a game. It's fun, but it's a business. It's about dollars and cents. It's not about a blue hat or a red hat or whatever. It's about green. It's about money. Period.
There's been a lot of times throughout sports that I've hated the business side and I've loved the business side. That's just what it is for sports. But getting to our Cub or Dub, do you think Suzuki's return this week is rushed? I know he was at batting practice today.
Yeah, he did. He did take BP today, and he at least it seems to be doing well. A few of their other guys, have been pulled from starts. They're still not doing good, so they might be a little bit more time. It's a little bit rushed. I'm hoping that just safety wise, if you activate him, don't start him right away. Have him pitch hit 1 or 2 games just to kind of get him and then put him in the lineup. But again, it's just obviously hindsight's 20/20, right? If he comes back too early and gets hurt again, we'll all say, "Oh, see." But if he comes back and starts raking, everybody will be like, "See, he was ready." So, it's easy to say it, but yeah, I would personally pitch hit him once before you start him for a full game. But we'll see.
I completely agree. Thank you, Steve, for joining us this week. Tell everybody where they can find you and follow you. Of course, you'll be on the NBA Carousel this week.
Yep, Golden State's still playing, so big game tomorrow. But yeah, NBA Carousel every Monday night with the hostess with the mostest, Megan Price. Easiest way to find me is on Twitter. Either my personal account is at SBan1720 or my basketball account is at All Eyes on You, the letter U, All Eyes on You Hoops. Hit me up on Twitter and see me on any one of these wonderful Sideline Sports productions.
Thank you, Steve. Have a good night and good luck to the Golden State Warriors tomorrow. Hopefully you'll be talking about a serious lead, but then again, it could be tied once we get to Monday.
Yes, we do have a game Wednesday, Friday, and then game five will be Monday, and we'll see what we talk about then. Absolutely.
Thanks again. Have a good night.
Thanks, Jordan.
All right, we're going to move on to Jacob Christner talking about Caleb Killian and Greg Maddux. Hey, Jacob.
Hey, all I'm doing is since I work in glasses right now, all I'm doing is taking a look at you guys and wondering if you got progressive lenses.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't. I went to a local shop here in Grand Junction, Colorado, and got them. But let's.
Well, not a bad little evening. It's like not a bad little evening and stuff like that. Although it was a loss for the Cubs.
That's the only downside, and we let's get a little bit happier and talk about Greg Maddux to start out with. I mean, Greg Maddux, to me, he was a great pitcher for the Chicago Cubs.
Oh yeah.
But I didn't like him leaving to go to Atlanta. But I understand the reason, the move. But if you look at it, 113 wins, 13th all time in Cubs history.
Sure.
But what do you think made him so special? I mean, we can talk about his strikeouts, how he, managed to get a lot of ground ball outs and pop out outs. But you ended up seeing him more than, a lot, considering he was in the early 90s. So what made him so special?
Well, one of the and late 80s too. But one of the biggest things that I look at now that it's a little hindsight. You don't look at when you're 11 years old. You don't look at it this way. But hindsight now, I look at him as somebody that is the equivalent of, okay, say that he hit somebody with a pitch. He's the type that the guy's going to chase him on the mound and he's going to give up and he's going to sweep his leg without sweating. This isn't going to be a Nolan Ryan taking Robin Ventura, boom, boom, like that. He's just going to do that and just watch, or he's going to laugh at the guy while he's, it's like he's always cool. I use that as just an example, not to say he's going to get into fights or anything, but he's just cool. It's whatever he does, he's cool. He does it, and it's why I like Hendricks. Hendricks struggles right now. You know what I'm saying? And Hendricks struggles in a way that Maddox never did. Maybe Maddox did at 42 or 3. But but maybe he did at that part, but not even that much. But I like Hendricks for that simple reason. It's like he's the guy, they call him the professor. He's probably going to teach economics over in Dartmouth one day. You can just see that, and it's like very even-handed. They don't sweat. Those are the kind of guys, okay, yeah, you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle sometimes. But I like the ideas because the ones that sweat aren't going to have the games like he did with 116 pitches, which I still think he should have finished. Because ever since then, it's been 0-2. But with two no decisions. So it's like there's going to be, but it's like when he's really on, it's impossible.
So when he left to the Braves, obviously he won the World Series. Why do you think he came back to Chicago for those 2 years? I mean, I was excited when he came back because I knew we had a guy who could strike batters out. I mean, we weren't a World Series juggernaut by any means, but he came back. Why do you think he decided to come back for 2004 to 2006?
Chance. A chance. We got to realize 2003, they were that close. Just that close. And it's like, you get yourself, they weren't going to get that. I mean, he'd had his years with the Braves. It's like you give yourself a shot, and I don't think he really truly wanted to leave the Cubs. I don't think he truly did in the first place. The Cubs just were a poorly run organization, and they kind of still are in certain ways. I don't hate Ricketts like the other ones, but I mean, business-wise, I pay attention more to business than a lot of people. I think he's doing well business-wise. He's got some very necessary things around Wrigley, which I appreciate on that. But as far as baseball goes and stuff like that, there's a World Series. I mean, we can't say that type of part, but they were everybody that goes on the Ricketts right now, it's like a prisoner of the moment. They were a really poorly run franchise till Dusty Baker. And there's a reason I don't hate Dusty Baker, is because ever since Dusty Baker, and it will be 20 years next year since Dusty showed up. And can you believe that?
I didn't realize it's been that long, but when I was talking about, unfortunately, the Bartman incident, I mean, I remember that in 2003. I didn't realize it was 20 years ago. 19 right now, but 20 years ago. But yeah, I definitely agree with you that I do remember in 2004, we were this close to getting a wild card position. And I remember, of course, Greg Maddux should come play for the Cubs. We had a chance to ultimately go to the playoffs. Unfortunately, we fell short. I remember that the day that we were eliminated, I think it was if memory serves me right, it was the day before the last game of the season, and Sammy Sosa just said, you know what, I'm not playing. And I understood it. I understood why he was frustrated. We had a chance to go to the playoffs, and we didn't show up. But another question for you is, since you've seen a lot of, great Cubs players,
sure, and
of course you're a little older than me, we won't get into age or anything.
Hey, I still feel young, but what the hell?
Do you think they should have, they did retire his jersey. Do you think they should have? Greg Maddux, that is.
You said they did or did not retire his jersey?
They did. According to this,
absolutely.
they did.
Absolutely. Oh, no. Absolutely. It's like, I mean, this is an all-time great. Let's just be honest here. He was the type, I mean, really in itself, it doesn't matter if he came back and it fell short. It doesn't matter. 113 wins as a Cub, even that's a part-time Cub. That's still, I mean, you got to realize, I brought up the guy I like. That's still 86 wins. That's 27 wins. That's probably 2, maybe 3 seasons if he struggles still. That's my point. That's the point I'm saying. It's like 113 wins as a part-timer. Yeah, he deserves it.
And then you look at his strikeouts, 1,305. And of course, you touched on it that he doesn't give up home runs. He gave up 160 in his Cubs career. That's pretty impressive to me.
Well, what gets me here? Here's what gets me. They bring up the meme all the time that just impresses the ridiculous out of me. 21,000 hitters he faced in his career, 300 and something, 324 3-0 counts, and like 177 of them were intentional walks. I mean, that's just absolutely absurd control.
And that's why he's in the Baseball Hall of Fame, because of that control. So
well, it's that cool. Like I said, it's that. It's like, we're gonna bring up Caleb Killian in a second. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but which has nasty stuff, but you can have, I mean, Maddox and my guy Hendricks and all of them. They're showing you don't have to wear yourself out.
I completely agree with that.
Out to do this,
and
it's like, like I said, I wanted him to finish at that time. I'm just bringing it up real quick against San Diego. He could have finished because you can throw 150 pitches with the way he he doesn't use any energy. They don't use energy, and they don't use. I mean, Maddox didn't use energy, and it's like guess what? It's like it is the epitome of cool in a certain way, and it's like it's why I have a respect for Maddox. It's why I have a respect for these. There's a cool level to that when your stuff is on 5, 6, 7 games in a row, a couple months in a row. It's a cool level. It keeps the thing going, and you don't ever wear out. You don't get injured. These are my points.
And yeah, you avoid the injured list. You avoid Tommy John. I completely agree with you. But let's go on to a young pitcher who actually made his debut. Caleb Killian. Now, I went through the numbers with before he got into Wrigley. If you look at it, and it's minor league baseball, you can be there pretty much your whole career. So this guy got a pretty good chance. He was 33-10 at all of minor league baseball with a 3.07 ERA. Now, what I saw from him, at least through the first 3 innings, he was almost unhittable. And then, of course, he kind of went downhill. But what did you think of his debut?
Oh, nice. He's nasty stuff. But see, what I noticed the 33-10 also. Let me tell you this now, when you're that high, I mean 3.07, nice. Do not get me wrong. But 33-10 would usually believe you're going to have Jacob deGrom's numbers. I would think.
I would take Jacob deGrom. We could use a pitcher like him.
I would like him to play first. But no. I want him to play first. Forget that. Let's get him healthy before I get to something like that. But no, I've been bringing that up for a year or two now, and you know that. But no, Caleb Killian, it's like very, very, very nasty stuff. But like I said, I look at that 3.07. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying that at all. It's a nice ERA. But when I see that kind of an ERA, like I said, I'm expecting 2.1. 2.2 with those wins and stuff like that. Okay, 1.78 or even. It's like a DeGrom. And it's like, that means like the other night he had 1 rocky inning. When I think of that, I'm like, this is not shocking. There's a rocky inning in there somewhere more often than not. And also, does he get tired? Like they showed him at Mesa. I remember a game they had at Mesa. They showed highlights in 6 perfect innings. It's on YouTube. Showed it 6 perfect innings. Then he was out. It's like, does he have any stamina?
That is a big question.
He's got a nasty slider, nasty fastball. I mean, love all of his pitches, but it's like, that's my same thing as I was bringing up with Hendricks. I'm really getting tired. I bring up with this guy, where's his stamina go? Because he puts it all in. Here's my question: could we use him as a closer?
It wouldn't be a bad idea, but I mean, it was one start. I'm not going to get too excited for it. I was excited when he,
Well, he's back
retired.
in the minors again.
Well, yeah, but he retired the first 9 batters. I was going to get there in a second. 9 hits, 3 runs, all of them earned, 2 walks and 6 strikeouts. Now the fact that he's going back down to Iowa, what do you think? Or do you think he'll get another chance at the major league level this year? Or do you think
September, absolutely. September, absolutely. Everybody's going to be gone. But no, to me, like I say, when I see that ERA and see bringing up I'm not going to try to go into a title like we were bringing up Morel early last week. It's like I'm somebody who sees a little different. For instance, I think the reason I want to see Morel in the 4, it isn't saying he isn't doing well now. It's the fact that our 4 has 74 strikeouts. And I want to see that guy who doesn't strike out in there who has power. And then I want to see that guy go to 8, and I want to see Hayward gone. See, that's just all I'm thinking. Same thing with this. If I see 33-10 with a 3 ERA and not like a low 2, it means he's wearing out somewhere. I want to see that kind of wicked pitch, and he's got wicked stuff. I want to see that as a reliever. I want to see that as a closer right now.
I would agree with that. So, getting to our Cub or Dub, do you think Suzuki's return this week is rushed? I know he was taking batting practice today.
He's not hitting 340, okay? Look, he's not hitting 3. What he does is get on base, and he's hitting 246 right now, 245. This isn't like we're hitting 340 and then we're wondering, are we rushing him back and he's going to be struggling? Who cares? Who cares in the end? It's like, the one thing I like about him is he gets himself on base through walks, gets himself on base through errors. He hustles. I mean, who cares? Not really. This isn't exactly we're not 2 games. We're not 2 games out of first place or in first place by 3 or 1/2 or something. This isn't that thing. We're done. This is the Cubs are done. So let him do what he wants to do, and it's like by itself. And like I said, he's going to get walks even if he's in a splint. He's going to get ground balls, even if he's going to hustle, even if he's going to do that. So, no, not really.
Okay. Thank you, Jacob, for joining us this week. Tell everybody where they can find you and follow you, and see you next week.
Yep. During the season, I mean, Schwanda still has his chance on NBA Carousel, making prices NBA Carousel, but I get mine during the regular season with a better team, thank God, next year. And that is the Mondays. That would be the Mondays. Tuesdays, the Cubfidential with every person ever on Sideline Sports. I like to say that. Thursday nights is the Pundits Pundit with Jenn. I mean, I love doing that. It's my favorite show of the week because it's mine. And Jenn's, of course. I can't thank her enough. And then Sunday Night Basket Bros with Dom DeRubis, Will Vogel, and Jay Nelson. As everybody knows, is Denzel Snipes, the next Denzel at Hollywood. So anyway, and plus I've got a lot of other things going on I'll bring up later. So you guys have a great night.
You too, Jacob. Thanks for being on, and we'll see you next week.
Take care.
Thank you for watching another Cubfidential, the best late night Cubs coverage. Please subscribe to our Sideline Sports YouTube channel if you haven't. We have some great shows every single day. Please check them out. As you heard, we have 3 Chicks in the Pod, Basket Bros. They're very entertaining and very informative, so please check those out. For all of us here on Cubfidential, have a great night and a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next week.